What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Jeremy in here again. Welcome back to the channel. And, last day of 2024, right? So I figured I would just make a quick video with the, boxing here in review. Take a quick look back at all the fights and the big events that we saw over the year. And maybe do some nominations and talk about my picks for fight of the year, knockout of the year, etc., etc. All right, I'm gonna try to make this quick because I'm watching my little girl right now. She's asleep, but babies, they wake up real quick. So let's get straight into the video. Boxing here in review. All right, so we have some big fights this year. We had Better Beef versus Bivol. We had Usyk 1. Usyk versus Fury 1 and Usyk versus Fury 2. We had all the Riyadh season events, 5v5, Anthony Joshua versus Ngannou, Anthony Joshua versus Dubois. Some major events. We had Terence Crawford versus Madrimov. This, for me, has been the best year of boxing that I've been watching and participating and, admiring the sport. I know that maybe there's been other years that's been better or whatever, but just for me, since I've been a fan of boxing, this has been the best year of boxing so far. So with that being said, boxing here in review, fight of the year for me. So I had 4 nominations for fight of the year. I had Fury versus Usyk 1, I had Bam versus Estrada, I had Better Beef versus Bivol, and I had Ray Ford versus Otabek, right? To me, I know that because boxing, the way our boxing is, people forget what happened earlier in the year, right? So we have a recency bias when it comes to boxing. It's what have you done for me lately? But for me, the fight of the year is Ray Ford versus Otabek Komotov. That was the fight of the year. Ray Ford pulled it out in round 12, knocked out Otabek with 10 seconds left on the clock. 10 seconds. He was down in the fight and he had to get the knockout. And he pulled it off with 10 seconds left in the fight. Think about that. So, with that being said, that is why it is my fight of the year. It was a close fight. Both guys battled it out and Ray Ford pulled it off. Fight of the year for me. Knockout of the year. Again, recency bias, right? I have 4 nominations for knockout of the year. And this was a very tight decision, very close. But I had Wardley versus Clark, right? Fabio Wardley left a dent in Clark's skull. That was a gruesome knockout. We had H2O versus Lucas Badi. H2O fell face first. I couldn't even get that out. He fell face first, straight to the ground, 1-punch knockout, out, clean. We had AJ versus Dubois. Nobody expected Daniel Dubois to knock out AJ the way he did, And then we have AJ versus Ngannou, right? Honorable mention is Sirache versus Munguia, when Sirache knocked out Munguia, but that may be mentioned later on in the video. But for me, recency bias, I know a lot of people might say, AJ versus Dubois knocking out AJ. But for me, the knockout of the year, the most gruesome knockout of the year, one of the most gruesome knockout that I've ever seen is AJ versus Ngannou. That was one of the most perfect 1-punch knockouts you will see, bar none, no questions asked. That was a vicious knockout, right? So that is my knockout of the year. AJ versus Ngannou. Anthony Joshua flatlining Francis Ngannou. He was on the ground for like 5 minutes. That was crazy. Fighter of the year. Fighter of the year. So, I had like 3 nominees. Maybe there's more, but the year is long and I can't remember every fight and I can't remember every fighter when I'm trying to put together the list. So, Fighter of the Year nominations was Bam Rodriguez, Daniel Dubois, and Usyk. And to me, no question, the Fighter of the Year is Usyk. You know, he became undisputed, even though he only had 2 fights for the year and fighting the same guy. But it was the heavyweight division. It is the biggest fight. The boxing goes where the heavyweight division goes. And we crowned an undisputed heavyweight champion in the last 25 years. It's been 25 years since there was an undisputed heavyweight champion, and we crowned one this year. And his name was Alexander Usyk. And he came back and he defended his title. So that is why he is the fighter of the year for me. Bam Rodriguez had a good year. Daniel Dubois had a magnificent year as well. But Usyk, just bar for the accolades, just off of what he accomplished this year, he has to be the fighter of the year. Upset of the year. So upset of the year, I have Cardina versus Kakashi. I have Matias versus Paro. I have AJ versus Dubois. And I have Munguia versus Sarache. Now, all of those could qualify for upset of the year, but nothing beats getting knocked out by a guy who only has 4 knockouts, right? And Jaime Munguia got knocked out cold by a guy with only 4 knockouts, which is crazy. Nobody expected that. Everybody expected Munguia to just run through this guy and it be over with, be calling out Berlanga or whoever. But Jaime Munguia got knocked out by Sarache, and now he has to rematch this guy. You know what I mean? One too many fights for the year, in my opinion, for Munguia. Maybe he just needed some rest. Maybe he just got lazy. Maybe he needs to tighten up his defense. Maybe he should not have gotten rid of Freddie Roach. I don't know. But he got knocked out by a guy with 4 knockouts. And that is the upset of the year because nobody expected that. We all know Daniel Dubois have some power, right? We know Liam Paro can box. So him beating Matias is, you know, it's an upset, but not that big of an upset. Daniel Dubois finding a punch to knock out AJ. It's an upset, but not that much of an upset. We know he could punch. You know, Kakashi, that was a big upset earlier in the year for me, for sure. I did not know who Anthony Kakashi was, and he knocked out Joe Cardina. You know what I mean? But there's an argument to be made that he got hit after the bell and never recovered from it. Sarache knocking out Munguia is crazy. That's upset of the year. Also, honorable mention, Tim Tszyu versus Murtazaliev. That's an honorable mention, but it still doesn't beat out being knocked out by a guy with 4 knockouts. And for me, the last category that I have is prospect of the year. As again, I could not remember all of the prospects. I just know I remember who I know is the prospect of the year. Recency bias is going to tell people, oh, he got knocked down twice in his last fight, blah, blah, blah. This is boxing. You get punched on the right spot, you get knocked out. He got up and knocked the guy out. Prospect of the year, Abdullah Mason. I'm looking forward to him moving into contender status next year. They need to step him up to some 10-rounders and give him his first 12-rounder next year. All right? And some better competition. But definitely fighting 6, 7, 8 times this year, or however many times he fought, he is the prospect of the year for sure. That is my list. It's objective. It's my list, right? So if you have a different picks, leave it down in the comment section below, all right? But that's my list. Don't fight me over it or anything, all right? It's just boxing. Everybody have different opinions. Leave yours in the comment section below, all right? Peace out.